Question 1c. Solve x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. We can solve this quadratic equation by factorising, completing the square, or using the quadratic formula. So by factorising, because we're dealing with a monic quadratic equation, that is, the coefficient of x squared is 1, we can find two numbers whose sum is negative 2 and whose product is negative 8. And those two numbers are negative 4 and positive 2. So expressing the left-hand side of the equation in factor form, we get x minus 4 in brackets times x plus 2 in brackets is equal to 0, which gives rise to two cases, that is, x minus 4 is equal to 0 or x plus 2 is equal to 0, and therefore x is equal to negative 2 or x is equal to 4. By completing the square, firstly, add 8 to both sides of the equation, so we have x squared minus 2x is equal to 8, and then to complete the square, take this term here, which is the middle term, halve it, and then square it. So half of negative 2 is negative 1, and squaring negative 1, you get positive 1. So adding 1 to both sides of the equation, we get x squared minus 2x plus 1 is equal to 8 plus 1. Now on the left-hand side, we have a perfect square. So factorising this perfect square, we get x minus 1 in brackets, all squared, is equal to 8 plus 1, which equals 9. Taking the square root of both sides, we get x minus 1 is equal to plus or minus 3. And then adding 1 to both sides of the equation, we get x is equal to 1 plus or minus 3. Therefore, x is equal to negative 2 or x is equal to 4. And finally, using the quadratic formula, we can just substitute the coefficients of x squared and x and the constant term, which is negative 8, into a, b, and c in the quadratic formula. So x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now a is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 2, and c is equal to negative 8. So x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 2 all squared plus 4 times 1 times negative 8 over 2 times 1, which equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 36 over 2, which equals 2 plus or minus 6 over 2, which equals 1 plus or minus 3. Therefore, x is equal to negative 2 or x is equal to 4.